Hello everyone, I'm Professor Yeon at the Department of Nursing of Gwangju Women's University. This study was conducted with Professor Hong Young-nan, who works at the Department of Nursing of Suncheon University. The title of my presentation is The Factors Affecting Life Satisfaction of Employees. The table of contents is as follows. Let me first tell you the introductory part. There is no dispute that every woman being was pursued a happy life since the beginning of history. The index of life satisfaction that is used as a measure to compare happiness among countries showed that the life satisfaction level of Korea in 2017 to 2019 was 5.9 points out of the 10-point scale, which is 0.8 points lower than the OECD average of 6.7 points. In addition, a 2019 survey of employed workers across the country revealed that their score of life satisfaction was 43.5 out of 100, and only 3 in 10 employees said that they were satisfied and happy with both their personal lives and their jobs. In fact, a recent survey showed that more than half of the employees complained of a variety of workplace syndromes, including chronic fatigue syndrome, burnout syndrome, whining syndrome, ringtone syndrome, mental runaway syndrome, and bluebird syndrome due to heavy works and stress. Life satisfaction, a comprehensive assessment of the quality of life, is a cognitive judgment process about how much happiness or psychological satisfaction one feels about life. Thus, when someone is happy or being in a state of well-being, that person will have a high level of satisfaction with life and good emotions. Among the earlier domestic studies for the factors affecting life satisfaction or quality of life in employees or adults, some studies included gender, age, economy, breakfast, and exercise as the general characteristics. Other studies included work, family stress, parent support, social support, parenting stress, self-efficacy, depression, the personal relationship, problem drinking, and social support. Most of the previous studies for life satisfaction have been conducted on college students and elderly. On the contrary, the life satisfaction of employees under different occupations and characteristics was heavily researched in spite of the importance of improving life satisfaction of these groups of people who are under consistent workload and various types of stress. For the factors affecting life satisfaction, some prior studies investigated the relationship among depression, social support, and life satisfaction. Depression has been identified as a major factor influencing life satisfaction, causing serious adverse effects on productivity and quality of life. Often the employees do not realize that they have a depression problem, or even if they suspect that they have depression, the rate of seeking medical care is low, which in some cases results in the loss of adequate treatment, timing, and even in suicide. On the other hand, the various forms of support from family, friends, and other people were known to be important. The higher the social support, the higher the life satisfaction. Besides the psychosocial factors, problem drinking has been reported to have a direct impact on life satisfaction. According to the 2020 National Health and Nutrition Survey by the Ministry of Health and Welfare, monthly rate of binge drinking in adult men at the age of 19 or over is 70.2% and 47.8% in adult female, which took the highest proportion at 40.5% among the total socioeconomic cost caused by health risk factors. Workplace drinking is particularly noteworthy because it can cause not only the common drinking problems, but also the decrease in work ability or productivity. However, there are few studies that investigated the life satisfaction, including problem drinking as a factor. In this study, the level of life satisfaction in employees is investigated, considering depression, social support, and problem drinking as the major factors, so that the results may be used for the development for programs to improve life satisfaction of future employees. Next, I'll present the methods of research. This study is a descriptive survey to identify the factors that influence the life satisfaction of employees. The tool used to investigate the life satisfaction level was the satisfaction with life scale, translated by Hong et al., which consisted of 5 questions with 7-point scale. The tool for problem drinking was the ODK, which is the Korean version of the alcohol use disorder test developed by WHO in 1989. Multidimensional scale of perceived social support, translated by Sin and Lee, was used as the tool for social support. The tool for depression measurement was the Korean version of the Center for Epidemiology Studies Depression Scale, translated by John and Lee, for which total score ranged from 0 to 60 points. The collected data were analyzed using the SPSS Wind23 program. Now I'll present the results of the study. The factors that show the statistically significant differences in the degree of life satisfaction among general characteristics were family life satisfaction, the personal relationship and economic level. Thus, when family life is satisfactory, interpersonal relationship is good, and economic level is high, life satisfaction is high. The analysis of life satisfaction, problem drinking, depression, and the social support showed that the life satisfaction score was 21.33. The score for problem drinking was 6.70 points, while 21.7% was classified into the problem drinking group, and 12.1% was into the presumptive alcohol use disorder group. Depression score was 10.83 points, while 82.7% was found to be normal. 6.7% was very severely depressed, 1.7% was severely depressed, and 80.9% was moderately depressed. The score for social support was 48.21. The results showed that the degree of life satisfaction is closely related to depression and social support. Life satisfaction and depression showed a statistically significant inverse correlation. That is, the lower the depression score, the higher the life satisfaction. On the other hand, the life satisfaction and social support showed a positive correlation. Thus, the higher the social support, the higher the life satisfaction. To identify the factors that affect the degree of satisfaction, life satisfaction, interpersonal relationship, and economic level were chosen as dummy variables. The case that interpersonal relationship was not amicable was treated as the reference, and low economic level was also treated as the reference. The Model 1 analysis, in which general characteristics only were considered, revealed that family life satisfaction and high economic level had a significant effect on life satisfaction, with an explanatory power of 45.8%. The Model 2 analysis, in which both the general characteristics and the related factors were considered together, family life satisfaction and social support appeared to have a significant effect on life satisfaction, with an explanatory power of 49.8%. Both models had a tolerance greater than 0.1 and the variance inflation lower than 10, and the Durbin-Watson statistic was 1.9, demonstrating that the analyses were free of multicollinearity and autocorrelation. Next, I'm going to talk about the discussion part. In this study, the level of life satisfaction of employees and the effect of general characteristics, problem thinking, depression, and social support on life satisfaction were investigated. The results showed that the life satisfaction of employees was at a state of slightly satisfied, with an average score of 21.33 out of 35 points. This life satisfaction level is similar to the result of a survey conducted using the same tool. For the employees at age between 20 and 60 from companies with over 100 employees in Seoul and capital areas was slightly higher than the result from a survey of 800 Korean adults at age between 20 and 69. The factors that affect the life satisfaction of employees were identified to be the family life satisfaction and social support. The family life satisfaction was found to be a major influence factor in life satisfaction, which is consistent with the previous survey result for 970 married employees in Seoul, Gyeonggi, and Incheon area, which reported a higher quality of life when family life was more satisfactory. The other major influence factor was found to be social support. The result is consistent with the previous report, in which social support was a positive source in improving life satisfaction in the 50 to 60 years old job seekers. The result in this study also agreed with those from other earlier studies for middle-aged male and female employees with children, which reported a higher levels of social support would lead to a higher life satisfaction. The social support score of the subjects in this study was 48.2021 points, indicating that they were receiving social support over average. However, this value is slightly lower than the reported social support score of middle-aged employees, predicted by using the same tool. Accordingly, to increase the life satisfaction of employees, it is considered that more family support, peer support, special support are required, and strengthening the bonds among colleagues and establishing various social networks could be helpful. Depression is not an influencing factor on life satisfaction, but it is shown that the severely the depression is, the lower the level of life satisfaction is. Previous studies of the elderly, middle-aged male, and the college students have shown that a higher level of depression results in a lower life satisfaction, and depression was an influencing factor. Thus, further study should be pursued for more employees in various groups. The depression score was 10.83, while 8.8% was found to be moderately depressed, 1.7% was severely depressed, and 6.7% was very severely depressed. This result is similar to the survey result of adult male at the age of 40 to 59, in which, using a different tool, the score was 6.04 points. According to a previous study of 1,000 domestic employees, only 31% of employees who were diagnosed with the depression took a sick leave, whereas 69% continued to work. The reported sick leave rate of employees diagnosed with depression is lower than foreign countries. Even for those who took sick leave, they took the leave for only a short period of time. Furthermore, it was reported that 72.2% of the employees diagnosed with depression had experienced cognitive symptoms troubling their work, causing a higher cost by productivity loss than the cost of depression treatment. Therefore, it seems necessary to carry out depression-related then education for employees, and also to ensure that depression of a worker is early diagnosed and treated. Program drinking has not been shown to affect the life satisfaction. However, an earlier study of middle-aged adult male reported that program drinking had an effect of life satisfaction. Another study of middle-aged adult male at ages of 40 to 59 reported that the moderate drinking had a positive effect on life satisfaction, but when it exceeded a certain level, it caused a negative effect. Thus, it seems further study is necessary. The score for program drinking in this study was 6.70 points, which is lower than the threshold value for program drinking in male. but higher than that of female. Also, this score is lower than the reported score of middle-aged male employees at the age of 40 to 69 in the capital area. Nevertheless, since the results of this study showed that 21.7% was classified into the problem drinking group and 12.1% was into the presumptive alcohol use disorder group, it is considered that a program to prevent or treat serious problem drinking is necessary. Economic level was identified not affecting life satisfaction. However, the level of life satisfaction is high when economic level is high, which is consistent with the results in a previous study by Che. It was shown that life satisfaction becomes significantly higher when good interpersonal relationships are maintained, which agrees to the previous report that interpersonal skills were important for employees to adapt to work life and increase satisfaction. Therefore, in order to improving life satisfaction of employees, it is necessary to promote feminine life satisfaction and social support, lower depression, allow to work in amicable interpersonal relationships, and develop appropriate programs to enhance these conditions. Finally, let me tell you about the conclusion of the study. This study investigated the level of life satisfaction of employees in consideration of depression, social support, and problem drinking. It was found that the level of life satisfaction of employees was at a state of slightly satisfied, and that feminine life satisfaction and social support were the influencing factors on life satisfaction. The higher the feminine life satisfaction and social support are, the higher the life satisfaction is. Also, life satisfaction was improved when good interpersonal relationship is maintained, economic level is high, and less depressed. These findings may be used for the development for programs to increase the life satisfaction of employees. The limitation of this study is that because it utilized the data collected from employees at a limited number of workplaces in one region only, it is difficult to generalize the results. Despite this limitation, the significance of this research lies in that there are not sufficient studies for the life satisfaction of employed workers. It is considered that the analysis for life satisfaction needs to be carried out, including data from other urban areas and occupational fields. Also, while this study investigated the impact of social support, including family, friends, and special support on life satisfaction, it is considered that the effect of each type of social support on the life satisfaction of employees needs to be examined in detail. Thank you for your attention.